Imagine a place to live for the rest of your life for a flat fee. Some seniors are getting that through something called a life lease. It's an arrangement involving a lump sum payment, which allows you to buy the right to occupy a sponsor-owned home. So what are the risks and why are some seniors opting for this kind of arrangement? To answer that, we're joined by Lois Marsh-Duggan, who is on the executive board of the Ontario Life Lease Residents Association, to explain. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
So Lois, how does a life lease work?
A life lease is actually a contract. Different from a condo or buying your own home, it's a contract between a sponsor who builds and develops land and a building, and a person, usually a senior, who signs a contract to buy into a lifetime place to live. Essentially, you put down a lump sum payment. In Ontario, that ranges between $200,000 and $1.5 million. So it's not a small amount. In any case, that buys you the right to live in that one place for the rest of your life. Buyers also have certain rights, but nothing like the rights they would have in a condominium. Life lease homes themselves are built and maintained by, as I said, sponsors who are usually nonprofit corporations like churches, cultural communities. There's a very, very large one to the east of Toronto called Monchong that has thousands and thousands of apartments occupied by primarily Chinese speakers. The sponsorship keeps ownership of the land and the buildings, but the occupants are the ones who pay property taxes, they pay monthly maintenance fees, and they contribute to a capital reserve fund, similar to a condominium.
And that would be on top of this lump sum fee that you mentioned off the top?
That's correct. That's correct.
Lois, what's the difference between a sponsor and a landlord?
There's a big one. The Ontario Landlord Tribunal, the Landlord and Tenant Tribunal has already ruled that occupiers of life lease units are not renters. We just don't qualify at all. We're a hybrid between people who pay for monthly rental and people who own a private home. So we're definitely not renters. We're termed occupants. So you have the sponsor and you have the occupant.
So it's a little bit more like you're a business when somebody owns a building and you lease the business space. Why is this arrangement advantageous for somebody who's older?
It's got some great benefits for seniors, primarily peace of mind. These buildings are built with seniors in mind, and right up to an advanced age. I'm 77 and I expect to live there in my 90s if all goes well. So buildings typically have wider hallways, they have safety features built into the apartments and so on. So they also have common spaces where people can gather, and socializing is very, very important for seniors. It keeps our minds sharp and it keeps us from getting depressed. So life leases are designed specifically for that, so that we can interact, do whatever we feel like, whether it's anything from quilting to playing pool in the billiards room.
And how is this different, Lois, than, let's say, having space in like a retirement center, for example?
Well, a retirement home is, as opposed to a long-term care center, is usually designed for people who cannot live independently. Life lease assumes that you can live independently, carry on your activities of daily life, even though you may be allowed to bring in a personal support worker at some point.
And then, Lois, quickly, we've talked about the advantages. Let's talk about the risks that are involved.
The one downside is that in Ontario, we don't have any regulation of life lease. We've counted out on the goodwill of the sponsors behind the buildings who were first built, and now we hope that developers of new projects are scrupulous and take care of people's sales deposits safely, but there really is no regulation at all. We're hoping that sometime in the next couple of years we will finally catch up to other jurisdictions and have some life lease legislation, because Unlike condos, life lease developers, for instance, do not have to put your buyer's deposit into a trust fund, a trust account. The Terry New Home Warranty doesn't apply. So if there's any form of problem with construction, you as the occupant are going to end up paying to fix that one way or another. In addition, there's no standard lease contract. So that means that sponsors often leave out important information like how increases in monthly fees are decided on. It's really important to make sure that the sponsor has a good track record and that they're financially sound.
Yeah, really important to read the fine print on these, especially because originally this arrangement was set up, as you mentioned, through charities like churches who were there to provide sort of the social justice needs of it, as opposed to investors who are there for profit. Lois Marsh-Duggan with the Ontario Life Lease Residents Association. Great information today. Thanks for it.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.